Okay, sal dit optel daai ligte. Net kan jy sien, skuif terug. Hi everyone, it is Tuesday. I almost said it's Wednesday, and it's our template Tuesday. I'm super excited for today, and we are getting ready for our templates. I just want to switch off my YouTube here, otherwise everybody can hear that. All right, so we are officially live. We've got somebody missing in our session today. As you guys can see, I'm super alone. I'm flying solo. Pierre is not here today, but that is okay. I can manage without him. I'm sure next week he will be here with us. He's traveling, so we are wishing him safe travels during this time. So we are continuing with what we started. I think this is our 4th session with regards to integrating the booking calendar, and I think it's time that we do that today. So we are going to jump right in, and I'm just going to make a few changes here. As you can see on my screen, I've got some things happening there, so that we can just get the idea of what we need to do. I'm just going to go back one to this specific page, and we just need to change some things right here before we continue integrating the booking calendar and actually get to the idea that we're really looking for. All right. So I'm just going to go back a few steps. I just want to say hello to everybody that are joining us. That's awesome. Leave a comment for us in the chat so we know where you are from. And then if you do have questions during this time, because I'm flying solo, I'm not going to be able to answer your questions while I'm busy, but I will come back and take a look at the chat if we do have any questions that needs to be answered. All right. So drop it in the comments and I will get to that. All right, so let me start off, and I am going to remove myself from there and just show the whole screen to make it a lot easier for everybody to see what we are actually doing. All right, so we are building a company that are very similar to the template that we have right here. We're going to pretend, you can see we've got the same type of panel that we've got here. We got our inspiration from the internet. We've got our top panel, and then some type of social proof here at the bottom of companies that trusted us with their website or their development or the software that we are selling. You can see we've got software solutions for big businesses. We've got our sub-headline, and then we've got our call to action. We spoke about call to actions many times before because it's so important to have that there. And if you hear people speak about a call to action above the fold, this is basically what it means. It's the first panel that you see when a person enters your website. There always needs to be a call to action at the top of the page because not everybody is going to scroll. You might find somebody that's going to come to your website. They know exactly what they want, and they are not going to scroll down. They're just going to click the button because they want to get it over and done with. So you need to give them that option too, all right? So we've got book our call today. Then we've got our icons right here. We spoke about this last week. Obviously, we just use this as placeholders now. Every company will have their own verified icons listed. But what we did use here was the social icons that we find right here in Builderall. A lot of people don't know about them, but this is the social bars that has been added right here. So you can go and use the social bars instead of the any of the images that you will find. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to close that, scroll down a little bit further. Now we want to make sure that we've got something like this. We really want to use the accordion and the big menu at the top. And then we've got this Meet Josh. Now I know that last week, Pia said something about moving this to the bottom. All right, moving this to the bottom, but I can't remember exactly what it is and how he wanted to do that. So I'm going to leave that out for this week because I want to get to the integration of the calendar, which is so important. And so we are going just to change our menu buttons right here at the top, because I think it's important that we start to see the bigger picture here of what we are trying to do. All right. So we're going to start off by changing the top menu idea, what it is. So we've got financial, manufacturing, travel. So let's start with financial first. I'm going to have financial. The next one is manufacturing. So we're going to do manufacturing. And then the other one is travel and telecom. So we've got travel. Then we've got telecom. And then the last one is retail. So let's do the retail as the last one here in the picture. So there is the icons or the different kinds of industries that we are working with. Each of these industries will have exactly the same type of information in those blocks. I'm not going to do that today because we are only going to show you one, and it's something that you can just duplicate for every one of them. All right. So it's going to have industry-specific offerings, what are the tools typically used, and what are some case studies. Now, as you can see, this currently is a box, and we wanted to make use of an accordion like we did previously. So we're going to remove these buttons today, and I'm going to try my best to do it as fast as we can so that we can get to the integration of the app or integration app. So I'm just going to open it up, and I'm just going to move this box out of there so that we can see what is the words that we are going to use. So the first one will be industry specific offering, and then we've got the next one. So what I'm going to do now is first I'm going to actually leave that in. Let's just do this, and we'll take out some of the information because we do not need to have a button there. But what do we do need? I'm just going to move this up for now so that we can work with this. Is going to click on it, and then we're going to just make the size of this container. You can see you've got the height of the container here. And maybe that's a little bit too much. Let me just do this a little bit. Let's just go 20 and see what happens. 50. All right, so this is the field. And we're going to go search for that container box here because we want to change this one here to be smaller, the box on the side right here. So let me just go look for the size here. We've got that size height of the container height. So we just make it a little bit smaller so that we just have the basic information in each of these boxes. All right. All right. So there is the first one. Now what we can do is we can just duplicate that because now we've got the same thing. The only thing that now going to change is the questions. So we just change the one, and then we're going to duplicate it again. This time we're going to change that question to what are some case studies. Because the whole idea here is we really want to make use of the accordion. That is the whole idea here. So there we've got an accordion that is ready to go. What we can do is, I don't know if we should have these on the side. We can take a look at what it's going to look like. So there is our area right here. We need to take in consideration the color scheme that we have. So we're going to go and change the color scheme of this gray to the kind of bluish kind of thing, just to make it stand out. All right. So when people click, they will be able to see these different kinds. Now, the whole problem that we've been having in the past few weeks was that when you click this, there's this whole big area that's opening up, and then it's blank underneath. I think what he wanted us to do is to maybe have this underneath. That's what Pia said, have it underneath it, so that it pushes this whole person's information down. But why not have it at the top? So that is what we also can do. We can have it at the top. So I'm going to open it up like this. I'm going to right click. And then we are going to scroll and look to increase the container height again. Like that. I'm going to bring this down, and we can always have me, Josh, here at the top. Like this, something like this. We are just trying to make it a little bit more sensible so that we can understand what this is all about. Some information about Josh, to book his calendar. So you can see that we are starting to get a little bit more information with regards to that. All right. So now we can see that's all in that place. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when it goes live, because that's now the question. What's going to happen when it goes live? And that is what we are going to take a look at just now. I'm just going to pull this a little bit. All right. So we've got me, Josh. All that information is right there. That we use the same color scheme. We need to change this button, obviously. So the button at the moment is that greenish. We need to make sure that we've got the same color scheme across everywhere. So this is going to be book a meeting. We're going to make it white. Book a meeting, or schedule your meeting. I don't like that, book a meeting. Schedule a call today. Something like that. All right, so now it's starting to look a little bit more like it. And it says action not allowed. So we're going to see whether this is going to work inside of it like we've got it right here. So we're going to click on save. And then we're going to click save again. Publish. We're going to take a look at what's going to happen now when we are going to see this live. So I'm going to republish it again just in case. And then we are going to go and take a look at what happens if we use the accordion in this way, if it's still going to be a problem or not. So there we've got our top piece. We're going to scroll. We've got our information. I don't know why it's so low. Where is this guy inside here? I didn't add it inside. So guys, this is a good example. You can see what happens. This is the problem here. We cannot have the accordion on the inside of a big menu. This is the problem. This is the problem that we had previously. It's because it is not allowing us to have the accordion on the inside. That's why we had those buttons. And probably this is why it's not going to work, because it cannot be added inside of that area. So we need to have to find another solution on how we're going to do this with buttons. All right, so let's just go back to the website. So we now know the reason why we get that message when we try to do something here, and it gives us and says action is not allowed, is because we cannot have the accordion in this area in the big menu, which means is we're going to have manual information underneath it for this to work. So we might as well do this now quickly, because we still got some time today. It's not time yet. It's still a whole 45 minutes, so we can do this. All right, so best way to go is let's make this this smaller again. Maybe it's a better idea to have it smaller on the side like we did previously. And we've got Josh here. So let's do Josh just on this top piece. And we can do it like this. Bring Josh back. All right. Something smallish like that. And then instead of having it like this, we're going to have our buttons. So let's go and grab a box. Not a box. That's not a box. Grab our box, because we know we can have a box inside of it, right? So in our box, we're going to have different questions. All right. So let's do the 1. And we're going to click again. And just do it like that. That is our second question, because everyone is going to have, we're going to have 3 questions for each industry, right? So it's going to be there. And we can see now we're going to have to increase the margin or the size of these containers again, the container height. All right, so we've got the container height has been lengthened. Now we can add these different kinds of questions that we have into this area, right? So we can go with industry specific first. And what I'm going to do is, you're going to see now that it probably will be a box inside of a box, but we might as well go and create another box inside of that one. So you're going to see, I'm going to just duplicate this. There's reason for the madness and what I'm trying to do here. And you guys will soon see what the whole idea is. So for this one, I am just going to create a bluish, and I'm going to make it round border. So let's give it a 5 for a border. We're going to have it right there. All right. Something like that. All right. And then this block here underneath, I'm also going to make sure that I give it a little bit of a roundness to it. Border radius, make it also 5 so it makes it similar. And there is our radius. All right. So inside of that box, this is where we're going to add some content. I'm just going to duplicate that. We're going to have our content talking about it. So let me just delete this block. I don't know why I do this. I do that every single time. And I always say that, you know, do one and then you just duplicate it. All right. So now we need to have some wording on the inside. Now you can make use of a button right here at the top as well. That's totally up to you. But in this example, let's actually do the button. Because this is now my thinking. The thinking here is, if I'm going to make use of a button, what is going to happen to that button when you are in mobile? Where is the button going to sit? Is it going to be sit on the top? If it's going to be sitting there, where will it be situating? So that is the key question here. Can you use a button, or are you going to rather have text inside of this box? And if you've got a text in the box, what is it going to look like on mobile? That is the key question here. So I would prefer to make use of a button, because with a button, you're going to be able to control it a little bit better. And it doesn't mean that you have to link it. All right. Now, this is frustrating. Every time that you make a change, we constantly have to close that. I know that. I can imagine what people might be thinking. Why do we have to open and close, open and close? But you can work on the outside, create your buttons, and then add it like you're supposed to do. That's what I always say we need to do. So let me just click there quickly, right click. Let me just go back and change the color of the box. Oh, that's not the color of the box. The color of the box is this one. And then the wording that we are going to use was industry specific offering. Right, and I'm just going to take this one and add it now right in here. In this case, we don't need that icon because it's giving us the answer there. We do need to change our box underneath, the color of that box, because obviously we're not going to sit with that color. So we can have it in a different color, maybe because the back is a lighter grayish type of thing, and that is our color scheme. But we can go and add some shadow to it. So if we darken the shadows and just create a little bit of an offset for the shadow, so you guys can see it stands out the box at least. And then we can make sure that we stretch this slightly so that it fits. So now we've got our first one. I can actually move it slightly over. Oops, it's out of it. There we go. Now you can go and duplicate this whole box because you've got it all set as exactly the same. And you can have your another one there. And then this one's offering here is going to be right click. We're going to change this to what are the tools typically used. And I need to make sure tools typically used. I suppose we need to use the right correct wording and capital letters where it's supposed to be used, you know. But anyways, so let's just go now. And now we're going to do this again. We're going to duplicate it again because there's 3 questions to it. All right. And the third question is going to, what are some case studies? So let's just delete that. What are some case studies? We're going to move this one down. What are some case studies? Okay, so now there we've got it. We've got our 3. We've got this image. Now this is where the fun part starts because you can actually create a longer image. You don't need to make use of this specific image. You can make it bigger and smaller. So you can have it the whole thing as well. Something like this. And you don't have to have Meet Josh like that. We can have Meet Josh. Let's just put this outside of the box and see what we can do with this image. So we can maybe have it like this. Meet Josh. Maybe we can even delete Meet Josh. Maybe that's going to be better. Let's have Josh because I can see who this person is. Oops, and I keep on moving the wrong thing here. Sorry. There's Josh, and then schedule a call. Like we said last week, we do not have to use exactly what is on the other website. So on our template here, we had this Meet Josh with a bio banner or whatever. You can still do that, but you need to play around with your settings and see what is going to work for you. That's actually what it's all about. So we've got our thing right here. I'm just going to move Josh up here. This is Josh. I'm going to say schedule a call with Josh. All right. And then these we can actually extend. We don't have to have it so small. And this is the fun about designing and working and playing around until you've got the design that's going to work for your business. All right. So I am not a graphic designer, guys. So just bear with me. We are working with ideas, showing you the tools, actually the power of the tools, and not the power of Jackie's design background. Because I do know that we've got some success coaches that are awesome, like Vani. I don't know if you guys know her. She's fantastic when it comes to design work. So you can see now, this is now starting to get somewhere. Once you start clicking around, you will be able to have all of this with the different kinds of guys inside of these blocks. So let's click on save. All right. And publish my website. Let's just give it some time to publish. And right, and close. So there we've got it so far. Great. Now, I don't like the color scheme that we've got right here on the big menu. That can be changed. And we're going to scroll down. You can see that we've got the color there is right. When you go over it, that is fine. But what is the set color? Let me close that. Let me see quickly. The color scheme that is set for once it's been chosen is on that color. That can actually stay. That's fine. That's the one that's highlighted. That's why. All right. Perfect. Let's leave it as is and move forward now. So basically what is happening, we've got for every industry a place where people can go to and they can learn more about the industry, and then they can book a call with that specific person. If they click on schedule a call with Josh, the whole idea here is that the call will go the call for Josh will go directly to his booking calendar. All right. And then when we scroll down, there is going to be another booking at the bottom for everybody. All right. So let's start today with creating the booking calendar for this specific person. So we're going to go back to our main site right here, and we're going to go to the booking builder. Now, obviously, through the booking builder, we are not going to set up all the different kinds of themes and all the different kinds of connecting calendars and all those different things, because that's not what the idea is. The idea is to show you the power of how you can separate groups, if you want to put it that way. So always make sure that you add all your hosts in advance, because, and I'm going to tell you why. Once you have started setting up the calendar, it's going to make it so much easier to keep adding them. So you can see we've got Josh already sitting here. Let's go and create another few so that we at least have 3. So let's say the other one's name is Adele at adelstudio.com, whatever. I'm just putting in numbers here so that we've got it something to work with. And obviously that number is not going to work. I don't know if that's going to work. Still not. Let me just try and find my own country's details. Probably that still doesn't want to work. Okay, let me do this. There we go. All right, so now we've got Adele. If we click on it, we need to give a picture for Adele. You can use any image that you can upload. We're just going to have a blank for now. And then we'll keep trainings as another person. All right, so now we're going to go and make sure that you've got your integration set, because the integrations are really, really important. So we're going to go and drop in. You can see we've got a variety. There's a Google Calendar. You can set up your Zoom account as well, because that is important to get that connected. So if you want to connect the integration, and I'm going to show you now with one of my own, you can add in your Zoom, and you're going to give an address. You're going to sign into your Zoom account, and you'll see how it works just now in a moment. And it says incorrect email, but it is not. Let me try that one. Okay, I can't remember mine, but you can set it up in this area, your connection. All right. Let me just remove this one. Maybe there is a conflict, and I'll try to create another one. Or we can use Google Meet. We're going to use Google Meet. I think I've got Google Meet here as well. Google Calendar should be there. Let's see if we can try the Google. We can add the Google Meet in there. I can't remember my Zoom account now. Okay. Don't worry about my Zoom account, but you can add your Zoom if you know your password. So let's go create a new calendar here. It's a consultation. So we're going to call industry. I don't know what the company's name is going to be here for an example purposes. And the basic settings at the top is the company settings. Industry company. It's industry software company. And then a good description for your company. Description. And then you can have your logo that you upload and your color matches for your logo. Our logo is going to be currently probably that color. I'm not going to upload that now for this stage. The time zones that you want to be in, your language that you want to be in. We're going to go to save and next. And this is now where the magic is going to start. But we first have to go through the motions. So the very first one that we're working with is the financial one. So it's financial and it's Josh. All right. So let's go back to our calendar, and we're just going to make it simple, financial software, and we're going to choose Josh. And that's why I'm saying it's so important to set up your host in advance. Now you can see why. You're going to give a description, looking for financial software, whatever you want to do. How long is your meetings going to be? So you're going to have to choose that. So let's say you give every person an hour. All right. And your interval sessions, whatever in between each meeting, let's say it's 2 hours and it starts at 15. I hardly change this, but you can change it, adjust it. The days that you are working, so we're going to take that away. Maybe Josh only works on Mondays and Wednesdays. You can literally remove all the other ones from it, from 8 to 5, and you can have your lunch hours in between if you want to, and you can add it additional in there. But we're not going to worry about lunch hours. And then when is he working? Maybe he is not working in January and December. Maybe all the other times in between. How many sessions? You can see if you hover over it, it's going to tell you there exactly how you can set up your calendar. In this example, sessions, total number of sessions is 4 sessions a week. So this is a good thing if, let's say, for example, you are a dentist and you are doing implants. Maybe that client needs to have 4 sessions. So that person can book 4 sessions in advance. That's basically what that is about. All right. And then minimum attendance, we don't need any of those. We're not going to block off days. Maybe you want to block off your birthday for Josh or whatever. The advanced configuration here is where you can plan your appointments, where the people can cancel or not cancel it. You can see do not cancel, rescheduling, when you want to show us busy, if you want to limit emails. Those are the extras that you can do. But in this example, we really do not need to go into that full details. You can collect additional information from your clients here by using the add new field. All right, that is really cool. If you add a new field to it, like you want to know if they've got existing other type, well, let me show you what I mean. So you can actually create here a short text. We want to give a short text. Current software. What is the current software that they are using? It's required. The mailing boss tag is really cool. So if I write software, it means that you can collect that name. If they fill in the form, that tag can be given to that specific client in Mailing Boss if you are going to collect your list. And then you would be able to, later on, Josh can be able to send emails to everybody that's got the tag software. All right. So that is something that you can add that is additional. So we're going to click not that. Let me just write software like that. All right. So now we've added all these extras right here. You can have multiple fields added. It's totally up to you. What happens after subscription? You're going to send them somewhere else to say, thank you so much for your booking. Please take a look at your inbox. You will receive a notification from us. Or you can just say, thanks for signing up, and you add a button if you want to redirect them somewhere else. Then we're going to click on save and next. Do you want to send them confirmation? You always want to send them confirmation. So I would say yes. And then you can edit your channels, whether it's via email, SMS, or WhatsApp. You can do all of them. You just need to make sure that you activate it. And if you are making use of WhatsApp, you need to make sure that you're actually collecting the telephone numbers. So just make sure that you read these messages. SMS, you need to have an active account. And I keep on forgetting, what is it called? What is the company you need to have an account for? And anyways, you will see it in the SMS actual. When you go to the SMS tools and you're going to go take a look at SMS messaging, it's going to give you the information right there, because this needs to be active for you to be able to use SMS. And then you need to make sure that you activate it there, like we've got it active here. Then you've got all the variables that you can add, like hello, and it's going to say the person's name, the date, the time that it's been confirmed. And then you're going to click done. And then you can add more than one. You don't have to have just this one. You're going to have more than the one when it comes to reminders. And I will show you that in a moment. Then email to host, where you're going to send the email host to. Do you want to be do you want the system to notify you when somebody made a booking? All right. That's basically what that's about. If you want to allow them to cancel, you can do that here. And this goes hand in hand with what I showed you earlier. When you go up to the advanced settings at the basic, that is where you can control these a little bit more. So it's important to think about that as well. Do you want to send reminders? Absolutely. You can do the reminders to the subscribers, and then you can just click on the pencil and edit, and it's exactly the same as what you would do. But the difference here is you can choose how long before you want to start sending them reminders. A day before, done. And then you can also add additional ones. You can see new reminder to the subscriber, maybe 1 hour before, done. And you can see that 1 hour, maybe that one could be 1 day. 1 day, and that one could be 1 hour. So we can make that 0 and an hour. So you can start seeing 1 hour to the meeting, 1 day to the meeting. Oh, and I keep on saying 1 day to the meeting. There we go. That's it. All right. I think it's 1 hour to the meeting. Why does it still say 1 hour? Oh, no, there it does. 1 day, 1 hour. And then use default or use a specific one. I'm just going to leave it at that. Automation, synchronize with the Google Calendar. Absolutely. Do not sync. You want to synchronize. You're going to click add and then choose your calendar. That is why I said earlier it's important to synchronize it way in advance into the integration area, because it's just going to make it easier. And then enable meetings. If you set up and you can remember your password, you can go that route, because I actually couldn't remember my password. Can you believe that? So in this case, just Google Meet, and I'm going to say Jack is there. That's fine. Connect them to a list if you want to make that user be on a list that you communicate at a later stage. Very important to always click on add, so it's been added. If you want to make use of the tags, there is all the tags. If you want to subscribe to social proof, you can do it. We're not going to do that right now. And we're going to click save and next. And it says here, check the information is correct. I'm just going to go like that. Click activate the link to be created. Please select synchronize Google Calendar. Sorry, let me just do this again. Read and write. All right, Google Calendar, save. And it still doesn't want to go. Read and write. Let me just see. Oh, my calendar. You see, I go so fast. Let me do this. And let me take that one away. Add the calendar. Jackie, I've got so many. Read one way. I don't want it to be just one way. I don't think you can do it just one way. Read only. I don't think you can do it just on read only. So let me just see if I can change this to read both. Let me just move that one. Jackie, let me just see which calendar I can use. Jackie's calendar. Read and write 2 ways. Google. There we go. There we go. Save. All right. So now you get the payment section. That's if you want payments to happen. We're not going to do that. We're just going to save it next. All right. That's the start of it. This is now just for the whole company as a whole and just Josh. All right. So you can see it's been created. You can go customize the look and feel right here, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to go back to our calendars right here at the top. And now we're going to edit this one. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the scheduling, and you'll see that we've got group 1. All right. So group 1 is financial software. If we're going to go duplicate, you're going to see everything has been duplicated now. So what you need to do is you need to go now to the next one. And the next one we are covering is manufacturing. So let's go and create manufacturing software. Software. We're going to take Josh away and we're going to add Adele. We're going to just change this to manufacture. Right. And then you're going to have to change it for Adele. Maybe Adele is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and you're going to go through the whole motion again here and click save. All right. You have to adjust it for Adele. So we're going to go back to the scheduling. Now we've got financial, we've got manufacturing, and let's duplicate this thing again. And now this time, what we are doing is we are going to go to travel. We actually have to have up to retail, but we're only going to do the 3 for today. So under the number 3, this is going to be retail software. And this, we change this to retail. And then we remove Adele because now it is the retail guys. And I'm just going to pretend that we've changed all the necessary info that needs to be changed. So now you guys can see basically what's happening here. We have got, let me just cancel that. We have got 3 groups of people: the financial software, the manufacturing software, and the retail software in one calendar. All right. And that's basically we want financial, manufacturing, travel, telecom, and retail. But we only do the 3 now because of the example, and we don't want the time to run out. So financial, manufacturing, travel. We need to link it now for Josh. All right. So if we're going to go back to our booking app, and we are going to go take a look, it's going to show us all 3 of them, right? We've got now manufacturing, retail, and Josh. So we're going to click on that because we only want to have Josh's calendar. And you can see right there at the top, we're going to copy that URL. And we're going to go back to our website. And we're going to attach that to Josh because that is Josh's diary. All right, there we go. Sorry for my dogs in the background, because I know you guys can hear them. It's going crazy. We're going to say open in a new tab, and we're going to click on select. So now you can see we've got Josh there in that area. Then we're going to click save. All right, and we're going to say yes, publish my website. All right, so now we've got Josh connected to his own, and you need to do that with each and every single one. So when you go to manufacturing, you're going to do exactly what we've just done now for the next one. So you're going to go to the manufacturing, you're going to copy the link, you're going to add it in the website. All right, so that is number 1. You're going to keep doing it until you've got it for all your people scheduled, all right? Now, for the company as a whole, if we go back to our template right here, you're going to see we've got all of these things that we still need to add in, but we're going to do this part now. So there's 2 that still need to be added, which we're not going to do today. But there is the panel 1. Let's go another panel, panel 2, another panel, panel 3. All right. So we know that in this panel right here, that is where we're going to have this section. So I'm just going to screenshot this quickly. Or rather say, what is this? This is testimonial. I'm just going to write your testimonial. So let's just grab a testimonial box here, or the title. So we know that this is going to be our testimonial. And those are things we can do next week, because the whole idea is to show you guys how to get to the last one. And then these ones was like just a feature, a services feature kind of thing. Let's just call that service feature. So it'll be just creating a placeholder so we can see what it's all about. Service feature. Okay, so that is basically what we're going to, I don't know if that is actually what it's called. All right, so now I'm going to increase the size height of this, because what we're going to do now is, our whole idea is to get the companies, all of them, in one area, not just Josh's information. All right, so we're going to go back to our one right here, and we're going to copy that link. We're going to go back to our website, and there's 2 ways in adding it. You can use the link, or you can go, and I'm just going to open it up here, and you're going to see that we've got booking under the elements, and you can drag and drop the booking, and you can choose to have the company added here. Redirection after scheduling, editor page or web page, booking standard. You can now choose which one. And show info, yes. Do you want to show group specific or calendar? We want to do the whole calendar, and we're going to click save. So this is the first way that you can do this. All right. The other way is if you want to be more controlled now, you can take it the full height and the full width away, and you can manage it this way. Or you can add it via an iframe. So if you're going to go to the add elements, you can also drag it via the iframe by adding the iframe into the page and drop the code. That is the other alternative. All right. So for this example, I'm just going to go and do this. Right click and say full width, because that's what we want. And you can see the only difference is what I don't like about doing it this way is because now you cannot make this thing smaller. You can see what happens there. So I'm going to show you the iframe way, my way. So I'm going to go and grab the iframe, drop it to the page. Let me just take it up again. I'm going to right click and I'm going to embed the URL and I'm going to apply. It's the same thing that you are doing. The only difference is now it's more control over your booking. All right. And then you can still have them. So I'm going to go like this. If you still want to full width, you can do the full width after you have set it up. So now you can see what I've basically done. You can have your booking app just like that in the full width. Or you can also have it as inline, but I don't want to do the inline. I prefer to have it this way. So you can do it this way, or you can take the full width away and control it manually. Totally up to you on how you want to do this. So let's leave it like that. I kind of like it this way. And I'm just going to scroll up. And then we are going to remove this block. A lot of people sometimes forget about it, but there is a kind of a border around it. And I want to remove that border. And I want to make sure that I've got the same color scheme, that the color, that the background of the background of the the background of the calendar. Yeah. Oh my goodness, guys. You can see this is, I wanted to say you can see this is Friday, but it's not. I wish it was. There we go. So you can start seeing the idea here. You've got the whole company's details now where people can choose which ones they want, or you can individually have them at the top. So I'm just going to keep on saving now and republish. And I think we're getting to a point where we can answer questions if there is any questions. Because we're not going to build the service and the testimonial feature today, because there's just not time for that. All right, so that is what we've got. So you can see, I'm going to click on save again so that you guys can get an idea of what this all looks like, and publish my website. And I'm going to go out of it because we don't need to. And I'm going to go out of our template there and our wizard. And we're going to take a look right here, what it looks like. So we've got our top panel. People can book today. You're obviously going to link your main booking app right there. And we're going to do that in a moment. Then we've got our big menu when people can click and they can open up and see exactly what's going on. Our testimonials, and then our booking here. So when a person now clicks on John, it's going to open up the booking builder for him specifically so that they can make a booking for him. Now you can go and change your look and feel of your booking. It's at the moment loading. I don't know if it's because of my internet, but it's going directly to his booking itself. So let's go add quickly this to the right place. So I'm going to go edit it quickly. And we are going to add it to that link. So I just want to get the same one here. Click on that one. I'm just going to copy it. And also, not that one. Sorry, guys. This one. We need to have the same link here. This one. Copy. For the main booking. Like that. Control V, open in a new tab, select. All right. So that is basically, now we've added it, the booking to the main one if they want to make a booking, and they can choose, or they can choose any of the different industry and schedule a call, or they can scroll down and they can make a booking through the call at the bottom. So I'm just going to click on save again. And it's important to go, and I'm going to show you now before we take the questions with regards to the look and feel of it. I'm just going to click on save again. I think there was one section that I did not like the way that it looked like, and I think it was Josh's hover effect. I just want to take the hover away because I don't, we can actually keep the hover there and just change it to dark. All right, so that would be fine. All right, that's it. And then we're going to click save. So now we've set all of that up and it's perfect. And I'm going to say not now because I'm going to come back here in a moment. So in the booking app itself, I'm just going to go in the booking app. I don't know why I closed it. I do these things all the time, so you guys must forgive me. So let me just have that one opened up. So with your calendars right here, you can customize them. And there's a variety of different ones that you can choose. So if I click, you can see what happens to them. And if you click more, there's really a variety of different ones that you can choose as to what you want to look. So let's say I want to work with this one. You can see my main background is that color. And we know that our website's color is like the grayish kind that we have. So we can go and change and grab that color and then go back to the booking app and maybe change this to have the more grayish, so you can see how it changed. And then the header at the back top, we can have the same as we've got right here. And we're going to do that. I'm just going to copy that with my tool, go back and change the header. So you can have get the idea, the text color, the main card background. There we've got the text color. We want to make sure that's white so that it's changed. I think it's white there. Card text model header main background. That's the one, the text color. Oops, we changed the wrong text color. That's black. That one is black. So you can change the whole look and feel by playing around with those things. All right. Did I save? Yeah, it's saved. So that is basically, and then you make sure that you activate it. Now, there's one thing on our website that I've just seen now. When you go live, this is what it's going to look like. People need to click on it. So we kind of have to have something that is permanently open here, something underneath, maybe an image or something that we can have at the bottom that when you click on it, it will still make sense. So that for that image, we're going to do next week to bring in something here that will still make sense. Like I said before, it's all about thinking about your design as a whole. What are you going to do? Because we know that it opens up like this, and it's going to look weird if there's nothing there to actually make it more aesthetic. So we need to think and brainstorm next week with regards to what we are going to do in the background. Next week, Pierre is going to be back, and he will probably also have some ideas of what we can do and brainstorm a little bit more. All right, let's look at the questions. We've got, it looks wonderful. Can you show how to customize the booking view with colors, logo, etc.? Yes, I just showed that. I think you spoke about that earlier when I started looking at it. The customization of the colors. The logo, I didn't add in the logo because you need to go and add a logo in your basic settings here, and I haven't created a logo for the company yet. If you have your logo design, you can see we've got 250 by 75. So let's go see if we can create something quickly. 250 by 75, custom size, 250 by 75. Now, this is not a very big logo, all right? It's not going to go right across the page. So you need to think, if you take a look at the side at the moment. So if we're going to go back, let's just quickly look at what the calendar looks like. At the moment, it says industry software, and nothing else at the top. So our logo is going to be sitting right here. Take in consideration what your background color is going to be. So maybe we'll change the background color to white. All right. So let's see if we can do that kind of thing. And the dog is going crazy again. So let me just see if we can bring in a logo. I'm just going to use one of these very simple ones. Let's just do this, and we can change this color scheme maybe to see what's going to happen if we click and shuffle it. Maybe this one. Oh, there's a nice one. Let's just do this one. I think this is perfect. So let's say this is our logo. We're not going to take all of this out. We don't need to have these things here. All right. And then we've got, I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to call this industry software, something like that. Software. Okay. So let's just make a very simple logo here. We just take that out. Industry software. All right. And then we're going to go, obviously you can go and choose some images. I'm just going to call software, and we can add something in like there. So let's download this baby. Actually, we can actually make it a little bit more, you see, then now it's coming back to the design of it. Forget the design work. We just want to download this thing. Because I was thinking making it around corners because it would just look so nice. So let's just go back to the booking app and upload it. Our software logo. Now we can see our background here. That does not fit. We're just not going to work with the bluish. But let's just save this for a moment. All right. And that background, let me just remove it again. Upload. We're going to change that background just now because we want to go to the settings and take a look at the customization, and we will remove that header background. We'll just make it white. And you can see how it's changing there at the moment. That's what it looks like if it's white. Let's change it to more grayish. So I'm going to take my color picker and see if I can play around with the header slightly here and do that. That already makes a lot better. So you can see what I've done here. We can actually remove this image at the back, but that's a good example. And then you can start playing around with the color schemes and the text and the card color. I think the card color can stay like that. We don't want to make it too obvious. Your text color, you can maybe change if you want to. Bring it a little bit, give a little bit more color, but I don't like it that way. The card text color, primary color, model overlay. Let's see what the model overlay is. If I do that, what is the model overlay? It doesn't show any other screen. Let me see what happens. So there we can see the overlay there. This is the other color that can be changed. So the primary color, we need to make darker as to that color right there. So we're going to copy that, change it to the color that fits us a bit better. There we go. So now we can start seeing we are already changing the look and feel of it. And then you're just going to click save. So it already looks better. If we're going to go take a look now, that is what is starting to look like. And if people click, you're going to be able to see the different colors. So you can still change the background, make this dark blue, make it lighter, all those different kinds of colors. So that is basically it. Let me see if we've got the final questions here, maybe. Doesn't look like it. All right, so next week we will take a look at the testimonial part, the service feature, and then what we are going to do underneath here, because we cannot have it open space like this. It's just not going to look so great. We've got this great background, but we need to have something here below that will not overwhelm everything, but will be able to, when they click, it will still make sense. I was thinking of keeping it the background like this and having like a type of a, not a blurb, but a faded image here at the background. But let's discuss that next week when Pierre is back and we can brainstorm a little bit. For those of you guys that is always watching us, like Clary, come back with some ideas of what we can put here behind. That would be a good idea. And that's basically all from us this week. We will see you the same time, same place. Remember, next week, after the Template Tuesday, we still have our Digital Marketing 101 session. So that's something that should not be missed. That's all from us today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you another time. Bye, guys.